Good morning, YouTube. Good afternoon and good evening. Welcome to yet another video by Tech Chess. And today I'm going to be kicking off a series that you guys have been probably anticipating for a very long time. This is going to be a very productive, very intuitive series called Let's Learn Laravel. Now, I've been working with Laravel for the past 5-6 months or so. I could say probably even maybe let's say a year I've been working with Laravel, and it's been the best framework for me so far. Well, one of the very few frameworks that I've been working with, but I've been working with Express.js and I've been working with Socket.io, and well, I'd say for backend frameworks, Laravel it's one of the top because it also can enable us to combine many of these other front-end frameworks such as Vue JS, React.js, and whatever else you want to combine with maybe Svelte or maybe Angular or whatever else you want. It's just simply the best for me. And I really wanted to share my love with Laravel by creating this coursework and sharing this series with you guys. All right. So I'm actually doing this right out of the gate. I have not prepared any slides whatsoever, but we're just going to go over some few things, whether it is to start with Laravel, whether it is to get onto it, and we'll just do a small project based on Laravel. And then we go over a few things that enable Laravel to be a better than ever framework in terms of combining other, uh, let's say, other frameworks, other front-end frameworks such as Vue.js and React. But we're going to be focusing on Vue.js as well. So don't be shocked if I don't cover up React, because React is not something that I'm particularly good at, but I will cover a way of getting into it, especially using TypeScript as well in the near future. But for now, let's get started with Laravel. Okay, so I've opened my browser right here, and today we're just going to go over a few things that you probably need. Now, Laravel is a PHP framework, so most of you know that you need PHP installed into your machine. So to have PHP installed into your machine, you're gonna need my personal favorite client tool is Xampp. So we're gonna go to Xampp, which is at apachefriends.org, and this is where we go. We just come, click on Xampp for Windows, and then you download and install this particular uh, .exe file, and you just go through the same steps. Just pick all the default settings and go ham with it. Now, to get started, to start your Xampp server, all you'd really want to do is come here and type Xampp. I'm going to come in here and run as administrator. It's going to give me the control, and if I to open it, it will open like this. So now you'll find some access over here and stuff like that. It will open like that, and that's when I'd start it and just come into my configuration and come and enable the auto start for all the modules, and then I'd start the control panel minimized, such that every single time I'm starting my control panel, let's say for example I'm switching it off. Let me actually exit. Let me quit it. Okay, so if I want to start it, I'll just click on this and it will have automatically started, and I'll be able to just go to localhost.phpMyAdmin, and it will just be able to give me my database. And according to what it lines up over here, it gives Apache, MariaDB, PHP, and Perl, meaning it installs a database, installs PHP and Perl, and also gives us our Apache server to run on. Cool. So once you've installed that, you'll be good to go with anything to do with PHP. Next, I want us to install a certain package manager for PHP called Composer. It's the only dependency manager that is out there that I know of, and you can just get started with it. So Composer is like so. This is the site getcomposer.org, and then you just hit download, and then you come here and say and click on this download and run Composer setup. And this is the reason why Xampp is the most important thing to install as the first thing. If I'm going to hit save and then I hit run, I'm going to run everything. Now this is the folder they'll tell us to install for all users, which is recommended. It'll give me an update for administrator. I'll go and hit developer mode and composer, and then you see now here's why Xampp is more important to install as the first thing. So it tells us to choose the command line PHP that we want to use, and by default it's going to select the one that has been installed with Xampp. So that's why you should install Xampp as the first thing. The next thing we're going to go into is checking our command line. Don't check this, just leave it blank, and then just hit next and then hit install. When you're done, everything will be set up for you to use Composer, and you will come and get into your terminal, which is CMD. You'll get into your terminal and you'll be able to hit the word Composer, and it will give us some commands that we can run. When we hit Composer, if we scroll back up, it will give us this entire cool Composer it's let's say graphic. We wouldn't call it a graphic because it's been done on the CLI, but I mean, yeah, it is what it is. Next up, we want to look at something else over here at this point. We want because we're dealing with websites, we're obviously going to be dealing with JavaScript, and this being a framework, we're going to be dealing with JavaScript on a bigger, more productive side. So I want us to go ahead and download Node.js. Now Node.js is a runtime manager for JavaScript built on Chrome's V8 engine, but you guys will be using the npm package manager most of the time, not Node.js as such. But this is what it looks like. The website nodejs.org. If you speak English, then the en side will be taken. If you speak Spanish, the es side, I believe. I don't know. Let me actually test that. Es. Yep, it will go to the Spanish side. So yeah, you can see the locale has been done and all that stuff. So yeah, this is what it is. You just go here, download the 14.15 version. The 15.2, it's having the latest features, but we can't guarantee its stability. So recommended for most users, 14.15, and download that part and just hit save. It will download 29.2 MB of data. Give it some time, open it, run it. This is how it looks. So it will welcome us to the Node.js setup. I'll hit next. Because I already have the installation, then I will like it just looks like this, and everything is very basic. If you want to turn on the developer mode, if you want to give some context and develop in maybe even native languages for mobile app development, you can also enable chocolate installation and stuff like that. But all you just really need to do is hit next for this. So I'm just going to cancel this for now, and you guys will work your way around installing Node.js. If you've done it right, I'll tell you that if you go to your command prompt and hit the word node-v, then you'll get a version 14.15.0. And then if you also go and hit let's just say npm-v, and you get something, yeah, 6.14.8, then you will have installed Node.js perfectly. Let's talk about npm. npm is a JavaScript package manager. Basically, what this enables us, if there's something that you want to do and it's in JavaScript, high likely are the chances that someone else has done it before. And that's why if we go to a certain page, like say npm, so npmjs.com, we'll find different packages. Let's say if we want to display data in a chart, so we'll go and type in chart, and then we'll see some packages coming down. So there's chart.js, chartbox and violin plot, chart elements, chart.js, chart wall cloud, and chartmogul.node and stuff like that. Chart.js is the most popular one. It enables us to build applications using the charts, pie charts, bar graphs, all kinds of graphs that you want to represent your data with. It will enable that for you. So you can just import this using npm into your project, and then it will enable everything. If you guys know how to code with JavaScript and Node.js as well, then you already know how to go about this entire thing. Cool. Now let's leave that alone and go and touch on something else I really think that is important for our learning curve and also our development project, and that is installing Git. I'm going to go to git-scm.com, and this site is where we install Git, our Git tools, and our Git bash. Git bash is a command line interface, much like CMD, but it's much better. So I'm just going to hit download, and so that you can see the big size, or rather the small size that is there. And I'm just going to hit save, and you can see it's 46.3 MB. So it's going to run that download, and then we are going to look at the installation of this entire software. Okay, now before we go on, some of you may have just tuned in to Tech Chess to just learn this, and I want to give a plea that I'll be posting more videos like this for education purposes for most of you, just to help out the people who are probably lagging behind in terms of anything to do with IT and math. So if you guys are into that, please hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for anything that I'll be posting that will be very new. I'll also be posting some new a vlog section, basically talking about life in general as a software developer. So if you guys enjoy that, stay tuned. But I won't be posting that mostly. I'll just be posting educational videos most of the time, so you guys can learn for as long as I also learn. So I'm going to hit run for this. It's going to prompt my entire screen to go black. But yeah, this is how the Git setup looks. I'm going to hit next. So then it's going to say check daily for Git for Windows updates, and maybe use a true type font if you want. If you don't, then just leave it. Then hit next. Then just hit next. This is just default. Let Git decide. Just hit next. Then use Git and optional Unix tools from the command prompt. You can check that, or you can check this one, which is the recommended. I'd hit the recommended, so that's okay. And then use OpenSSL library, just hit next. Check out Windows style, commit Unix style line endings, I just hit next. Use whatever this is, just hit next. I don't know what the hell it is. Default, next. Now Git credential manager core, the current credential manager sucks, so just hit next. Just hit next for that, next for everything. I won't hit this because enable experimental support for pseudo consoles. I don't want to do anything like that yet, but I'm just going to hit next, and I'm just going to install at this point. So it's saying setup cannot continue until you close at least list of those applications that are using whatever I'm using. So I already have Git installed, but I want to actually install it in the way that I've actually run it like that. So I'm just going to hit install again. I've closed VS Code, and it's going to run. So if yours is not running this fast, don't worry about it. You probably don't have an SSD. But if you do, and it's not running as fast, then there's a problem somewhere. But I'm not going to label that problem on anything. As long as it finishes installing, it is done. So I'm going to just do a launch git bash. I don't want to view the release notes. I'm going to finish. And this is my git bash while launched. As you guys can already tell, this is not my primary screen. My primary screen is on to my right. So you might not see Windows pop up that often. So uh, this is my git bash. And I can already do some few things over here, like say composer, and it will pop up that composer function like that. And if I scroll up, I'll see the graphic. I can even do stuff that normal terminals do, ipconfig, and that's what it is. But then now at this point, at this stage in the development, there's one command that has been installed into our system called git. And this will enable us to use version control for all our applications. So if you guys don't know what version control is, I suggest you check up some videos. I'll probably do some videos to do with version control in the near future. But we learn as we move. Okay, so once we've downloaded Git, Node.js, Composer, and Xampp, I think we're ready to start learning about Laravel. So I'm going to close all these tabs, and then I'm going to go to laravel.com. Now this is the official site for Laravel. You can learn Laravel straight from the documentation. Uh, you can learn Laravel from anywhere else, really, other videos. But I mean, I'm trying to give a beginner's perspective and a beginner's view on how to get around projects so that you guys don't have to like float around when you're watching crash courses. Okay, so this is where we begin. We're going to start with the getting started section and installation. Cool. Now we have the installation over here, installing Laravel. So it says that Laravel utilizes Composer to manage its dependencies. So before using Laravel, make sure you have Composer installed onto your machine. So we already have that done. And then you can see via Laravel installer. Now Laravel installer, I'll tell you this. We talked about Composer being a package manager. So what packages does it manage? Basically, PHP packages. Now, there's this PHP package called Laravel Installer, which enables us to craft a new Laravel application with all the required resources and files and all those things that are needed to be started. And that's essentially the Laravel framework. So I'm going to type in this command into my git bash or whatever terminal I want to use. So this is what I want to do. I want to actually open up my git bash right here since I already closed it. And then I want to type in the command composer. And then I want to type in global meaning that it's going to check the global directory where we install our composer. It's going to check the composer.json, and then it's going to install our Laravel installer. And the command that we need to run before this Laravel installer is required. This is what commands it to install. So I'm going to hit enter, and then it's going to change the directory. It's going to look for the version of Laravel installer, and it's going to install. Now, because I already have the latest version, it's going to say nothing to modify in log file, nothing to install, update, or remove. So after that is done, I can now come in here and look at what is next. So once installed, the Laravel new command will create a fresh Laravel installation in the directory you specify. So you can see Laravel new. Now Laravel new will create a new project basically. If you want to create, like, let's say for example, Laravel new, and now what possible um what project are we going to be doing? Maybe we do a blog. Let's do a blog, Laravel new blog. So it's going to craft our application like that. You can see the graphic for Laravel. It's in creating a Laravel project at blog. So it's going to create a folder called blog, and if I was to drag it here, I'll drag it. So you can see it's actually there. It's actually been created. So that's what we're going to be doing from now on. Actually, let me just center it over here. Let me not return it to the screen, and give it some time to install. And while it installs, I'm gonna go and get some coffee. Looks like we're missing coffee, but we have chocolate, so energy is still present. Now, if you see this text over here, application ready, build something amazing, then you know that you've already set up yourself ready for everything. Now, all you just need to do now is key in this and open it with your text editor. My my very special text editor right here, Visual Studio Code, will enable me to code out this application whatsoever. So let's see what this has in store for us. And you can see there's some files and folders already set up for us. We have app, bootstrap, config, all those things. They're all part of Laravel. And then something that you guys will notice, and this is why I urged you to install a Node.js on top of Composer as well. Composer will manage all our dependency packages for our PHP framework, Laravel. And then we also have package.json, which will manage all our dependencies for our JavaScript that we'll be using in here. Now, there are two files that usually come accompanied with our composer and our package.json files. So our composer gets accompanied by a file called vendor, which has the packages that we need to be installed into this system, this entire framework. Now, our vendor file is over here. If you guys have the time, you can look through it and see the packages that are there, but I don't recommend it because you don't need really to change anything inside there. All those are packages that are predefined. Those are packages that people have already created and you can only manipulate within the application. And then we can talk about now our package.json. Package.json contains all our JavaScript dependencies, the names of our dependencies, but we do not have the file that accompanies the folder that accompanies the package.json, and this is the node modules folder. Now, the node modules folder can only be accompanied into this application when we hit npm install. Now, npm install means that we're going to be installing all these dependencies into our application by including them in our node modules folder and making them available to us. So I'm just going to hit enter for that, and you can see what usually goes down after hitting that npm install. So you can see all these are just being run, and it will be almost done in a few seconds because we have few dependencies. So as you can see, the node modules folder has just popped up, and that's all we actually needed to do. Cool. Now, that being done, all you just need to really check out is if your application is running right. We didn't really need to run this npm install command for our application to start running because we're not actually using any tough production style JavaScript or development style JavaScript kind of code as I would describe it myself. It's a personal description, but you can just take a look at how the application has been crafted. So I'm going to type in a certain command over here, php artisan serve. Now, before we go and type in that command, I just want to type in php artisan, which is a command that you're going to be using from the very beginning to the very end of your production and your development and everything. So this command enables us to run commands within our PHP application right here. So it tells us the framework that we're using and the version that it is on. So we're on the Laravel framework 8.14.0. Then we are also looking at some of these commands over here. There's some available commands that we can use together with the PHP artisan. And also all these add-ons are also available commands that we can use together in conjunction with the PHP artisan. The ones marked in green, some of the ones that are marked in yellow, we can use them together. So this is how we go about the entire situation. We're going to run a certain command over here called serve. Now this serve means that it's going to serve the application on the PHP development server. That essentially just means that it's going to let us run our application. So I'm going to type in php artisan serve, and I'm going to start the development like so. I'm going to control click it, and it will show us our Laravel application right here. So at this point, I'd like to leave it at there and get into the next video as soon as possible. So stay tuned, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you guys in the next session.